I'm here. Welcome. Thank you for joining me, Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist, today to talk about why stress hits us. Oh, even that topic just is one of those icky things that can turn people so greatly. That's the nicest way of putting it, because it can put us in a right pickle and a right state. But first, thank you for joining me. I would love to know if you're here watching live or if you're here watching a replay. That will be amazing. Thank you so much. So, why does stress hit us like it does? I'm clearly going to talk about that, but I'm also going to give you tips on how to not eliminate stress, because you actually can't eliminate stress, but you can take it straight on right from the front and you can handle it. So I'm going to give you some tips about those. So thank you for joining me. Let's get into this. So first, why does stress get to us? Why does stress hit us? Why does stress come along? It's called life. That's the truth. The truth is life can happen. And if there's too much going on around us, stress can come from anywhere at any time and can knock you on the floor. So there's a thing called, do you remember the days Pac-Man? I've talked this before. Pac-Man is like head chatter. And it's just like this. They come along and they bite little things and they get that. So head chatter is a big one that goes on in your mind. Whatever's going on in your mind can come from your mind and into your body. So there's different levels of stress, and I call it little stress and big stress, because both can have a large impact, because the more littles add up to something big, and a big can just knock you out and you can go, why did I not see the littles beforehand? So I would love you to get your pen and paper, and start writing some notes about this. So when I talk about the little stress and the big stress, the little is when you start looking at your symptoms of who you are. And the little comes from when you're moving fast, or you're a little bit fidgety, or you're edgy, and it's like you're bunny hopping in a manual car. I've got a manual car, so I know what that's like. But it feels like you're and that's a little stress. And it can feel like there's no flow going on. You can have a massive amount of worry in your head from different levels of this much to this much. You can have a lot of worry, and you can have broken trust. And not just trust, it's broken trust. And so this is broken trust on yourself. I can't trust myself to make the right decision, or I can't trust that I'm going to make any decision, or I can't trust it. Or also there's trust from others. Is this going to work out? Are they going to do it by this time frame? So there's the broken trust is yourself and also others. And then, of course, there's the universe. Are we going to get another pandemic that's going to knock us and it's going to stop this? Is it going to, there's the bigger trust going on as well. And it's really important to acknowledge that little with broken trust, because broken trust anywhere in your world can immobilize you, and it can stop you from doing anything. Yeah, broken trust is such an icky one. So that was the little. I talked about a little bit of the little stress signs. You can feel that going on, and you're a little fidgety, and you're, oh, yep, I'm listening to you, but I'm not really listening to you, and you're a little bit jolted. When you have the big one, when the big stress hits, it is, I call it a mobilizer, and I call it the whale. So the little stress is the little Nemo that comes in and just slaps you in the face and goes, don't forget me, don't forget to do this. And you're like, yep, I'll do that later, I'll do that. And then along comes the tuna, which comes along and it slaps you around. You're like, oh, God, I forgot to do that. And then along comes the shark, and then comes the dolphin, and each one gives you a bigger slap. And then the whale. And I reference the whale as being the big stress. The whale is the one that comes along and with one blow immobilizes you, knocks you over, knocks you out of the house, knocks you out of the car, knocks you to your ground. Boom, done. That's where you are. When you get to the big stress, you've gone too far. Clearly, because it's immobilized you. And you've missed the little Nemos giving you the little slaps throughout and the little warning signs. So it's really important to recognize those signs. So the big stress is that house removal immobilizes you. if I reference it like physical, because I listen to my physical, which is my physical body tells me a lot of what's going on for me. So if you get a headache, is that a little stress or is that a big stress? Could be either. Depends how long that headache's for and how intense that headache is, because we know there's a headache and then we know there's migraines. So there's different levels. So physically, you get that. You can also get nauseous and you can go, oh, something's going on in my tummy. I feel a little bit icky. Something's going on. And you can think that's your butterflies. Do I make this decision? Do I not? You can think that's your intuition, whatever it is. That little tummy going on is part of your nauseousness. Oh, I feel sick thinking about this, or I feel sick. Be aware of that. The other one is that little or big. It's actually both, just for the record. The other one is sleeping. Now, you either sleep less or you sleep more. So I sleep, if I'm in complete meltdown mode, if I'm in big stress or anything, I tend to go the other way and just sleep is my thing. My body just shuts down and goes, you need to stop everything that's going on and you need to consolidate whatever's happening around you, and you're going to have to sleep this one off. Like, that's how my body works. Some people sleep less, some people sleep more. I myself shut down everything that's going on and a sleep more kind of girl. So be aware of those little things. Is it a little or is it a big? So just those physical symptoms I talked about, you know, the headache or the nauseous or anything like that, they are little and they are big. Because your little is your key, because they're your little signs that come through, but then they can be big if you don't do anything about that. So it's really important. With a little big, the key is to recognize them. So those signs are there for you to see. Is it a Nemo? Is it a whale? Is it a dolphin? Is it a tuna? Wherever it is, be okay that if you got to the shark stage, be okay that you've missed the other 3 steps before it. Just go, okay, right now. So acknowledge those signs and see them. Really important to see them, but also acknowledging them. They are perfect illumination signs and they open your eyes. So there's definitely things that you can be grateful for right now because it's helping you deal with stuff. Go, oh, that makes sense for that, or that makes sense for that, or that makes sense for that. Oh, I now understand what's going on. So be aware of those illuminating signs because they will open your eyes. Now, my podcast buddy Moira talks about the PEMS, P-E-M-S, which is your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual state. They have a large impact on your stress. And when we talk about your physical, I talked a little bit about your physical, but it's also what you eat. It's the exercise, getting fresh air, not getting fresh air. If you're trapped into a room, in a small dark room, and you don't see any daylight for days, you're going to be stressed. There is going to be some stuff, unless you're actually a real love the dark kind of person. And your emotion, I talked about your physical emotion. Your emotion is what's going on around you. I talked about life. That's your emotion. Your mental is what's exploding in here. Is it too much to do? What's really going on? And your spiritual is what's sitting in your heart. This doesn't light me up. I talk about glitter bomb quite often. That's what your spiritual is there. So, in saying that, be aware that when I talked about life as what can cause stress, there's stories that we have. There are current stories right here, right now, and then there's past stories. And then, even more, there's those ones that we create that are in the future. Oh, what if this happens, and what if this happens? They're actually not stories, by the way, they're fantasies or nightmares. But if we can sit here, we have our stories and we also have our past stories that allow us to move forward or not. This can cause stress to a great degree. Not just this will cause, it can cause to a great degree. Because anything that is going on, these stories, will turn you at any time. Somebody could say something, you could hear something, listen to a song on the radio, watching something on TV, and you can just go, what? What's going to happen here? So, TV is actually a great one. The media with everything around the world right now, that can turn you into stress. The other thing is there's too much going on for you. If you don't slow down and look at what's really happening, there's too much going on. This is going to happen to you. You're going to get massively stressed. You're going to get stressed too. an explosion state is what I'm going to say stress is. So when we think about that, think about those little key tips I've given you. So I often talk about fair exchange. And fair exchange is when we have two parties are grateful for each other and there's a win-win between everybody. When you do things for people, pleasing people, ensure they are in fair exchange, because if they're not in fair exchange, desperation will come in and that will cause stress. I'm forever doing that for that person. They're not doing anything for me. You know those ones, you can hear those stories going on now. So it's really important to be aware of that fair exchange. Now, did you write that down, fair exchange? I'm sure you did. So let me give you some tips on how to deal with stress, because I've given you where they come from and what's going on, but I'm going to give you how to deal with stress. So, as I said, one of them I already said, see the signs. Have a look at the signs that are happening around you and see and acknowledge and recognize them. You know, I talked about that headache, your body's craving for water, your body's craving for something in particular. That feeling inside, whatever that is, that's part of your tips to saving yourself from intense stress. The other word I'm going to say, the next one is, so number one was see the signs. Number two is simplification. That's a long word, isn't it? Simplification. So that means keep things simple, basically. Life, people, jobs, any of these things. You know, when I talk about jobs, remember that fair exchange that I had? So I'm talking about your jobs and also other jobs. So when we think about that, when we go to simplification, I would love you to declutter everything. Declutter. Declutter people that don't light you up. Declutter jobs that don't light you up. Declutter your surroundings that don't light you up. Whatever it is, declutter everything. Once you've decluttered and you've gone and you put all this in order, think about the word delegation. Now, delegation is one of my favorite things to delegate. Well, there's actually quite a few favorite things I've got, but one of them is definitely delegation. If it does not light you up, get it out of your way, bat it away from you. If it does not light you up, get rid of it. Delegate it to somebody who does love doing it. Delegate it to somebody who does love doing it. Now, I know some people are watching this going, oh, I've got no money to delegate, or I can't do that, or I can't ask people to do stuff. You can. And you can find ways to delegate things. If it's going to cost you money, you can find ways that it's not going to cost you money. So delegate. Do not do things that don't light you up, because it is only going to take you into a mental brain clutter, and you're going to get more stress because it's not going to get done. How many times do you leave things to the last minute? I know that one. The other thing is, last week I also talked about time for you. What can you do for your best peak performance is take time for you, whether that's standing on the beautiful decking, whether it's drinking water, whether it's hiding in the toilet away from people, whatever it is, take time for you, because that's the things that are important, that light you up, that's part of your glitter bomb. So, one of those tips is time for you. The other one is, this is such a simple one, but we get caught on this often, and this is realistic time frames. And so if you just think about the word realistic, so there's time frames, expectations, whatever you want to call it, any of that crazy stuff. So time frames are, make sure that your time frame is in alignment with the other person's time frame, and you're both content with what you've got. Yep, I like that time frame. Yep, this is doable, etc., without burnout. So be aware of that. And I put that word realistic in there because don't be crazy. There's a lot going on right out there right now. So the universe can come and just change things at any time. So can other people. Then the other one is, when going to the tips, is me. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. Reach out to me. If you're sitting in this brain funk state and you've seen the Nemos and you don't want to get to the tuna, or you've got to the whale, or you're getting to the shark and you've missed the tuna and you've missed the Nemos, whatever it is, reach out. Even if you've just seen one Nemo and you can't move forward, please reach out. I am here for you. This is why I do these videos for you, to help you, to give you tips to get past whatever is going on in this brain explosion that's going on. So please reach out to a professional. That is me. I'll bang a little note in the comments for that. Also, I would love you to be aware of your emotions. Today can change at any time. So you may be driving, appreciating the music, listening to whatever, being away from kids, whatever, life, whatever's going on around you, driving along, and you might get a phone call. And at that moment, your life can change. We've all had those moments. So be aware that life can change at any time and your emotions can change at any time. Just when you're having a marvelous time, something can come in and sideswipe you. So it's really important to count your blessings. Be grateful. And when I say be grateful, I do my morning and night. What am I grateful for in the morning? What am I grateful for at night? And it's such a beautiful way to wake up in the morning and a beautiful way to end my day. So that's one of my key things. If you can get yourself into a habit of that, you want to call it a habit or a consistency or a pattern, it just means when the chaos comes in, you go straight to that place of gratitude right there and then. It just helps you move along out of your stress, pickle, brain, noise place a lot quicker than it ever has. So that is me, Debz Cooper, over and out. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next week. I trust you got some tips. Let me know if there's anything in here you liked the most or anything you didn't like. Other than that, I will see you next week. Thank you very much. Thanks, Debz Cooper, over and out.